What's going on, guys? Just as I promised in the spoiler leak video, I'm going to be reviewing the chapter 258 Jujutsu Kaisen chapter today. If you do like this kind of content, feel free to like and subscribe, leave a comment. We can openly discuss what we think is going to happen and reviewing this chapter together in the comment section if you'd like. Without further ado, let's get right into it. So the chapter opens up with a narrator saying that Gojo constructed a unique reverse curse technique circuit while in an awakened state, resulting from the two black flashes he landed on Sukuna and Maharaga. It says he distributed the function and its burden to a part of his brain in a different way than usual, thereby recovering lost reverse curse technique output. In the same way, the King of Curses regenerated his arms to thrash the sorcerers of Jujutsu High. Well, at least that's what he intended. But Yuji Itadori drove 7 black flashes into the boundary between Fushiguro and Sukuna's souls, causing Sukuna to miss his chance to recover reverse curse technique.
Yeah, boy.
Then we see a panel of Miguel and LaRue. Miguel saying, "LaRue, you did well, take care," and LaRue zonked out saying, "The heavens are that way." But then the narrator says, "But, ... and we see Miguel kind of looking freaked out saying, "Hey, wait," with exclamation points. So my thought process is maybe when Sukuna opens up this domain, somehow, some way, LaRue is going to be finished off. If he's not dying here, he's going to be finished off by these slashes, and that might influence Miguel to get back into the fight because he's got nothing left to lose if his friend or lover, whatever LaRue is to him, dies. It's then that we get that double spread of Sukuna opening up his domain expansion, the Malevolent Shrine, with the narrator coming back in saying the king's domain returned to its master in a shower of black sparks. A change of palm signs, a curse technique with a part of the brain unaffected by unlimited void, in the operation of a barrier technique. Having survived the black flashes, Sukuna generates Malevolent Shrine without a decrease in the effective area or output through imprecise elements in an impromptu binding vow. That's then where we see him basically shredding everything. Even some of Mei's crows are getting caught in it, and he's just basically laying waste to the area. Alright, so we get a flashback to the training arc. Hikari saying that this fight's going to require reverse curse technique and counter domain measures. And Maki raises her hand and says, "Well, that rules me out," of course referring to the fact that since she's one of the people who's gifted with heavenly restriction and she has no curse energy, the domain sure hit can't target her, so she doesn't have to worry about that. And Hikari, looking a little irritated, just says, "I'm not talking about you." Then we see Choso saying, "Yuji and I can manage reverse curse technique." And Yuji's confused. He goes, "Huh, me?" Choso asks Ieri, Hikari, Akotsu, "I've always wondered something. When using reverse curse technique to regenerate flesh, how do you compensate for lost blood?" Hikari answers with, "I do it automatically, so I don't really know." And Yuta says, "I do it on instinct too." That's when Shoko says, she converts curse energy into blood. Many sorcerers can use reverse curse technique on themselves, but can't heal others. One reason is a different application. Another is because the receiver rejects it. So I guess that makes sense. It would be hard for somebody who can heal themselves and they know to turn their curse energy into blood, and then going and trying to use it on someone else. How do you heal them and compensate for their bloodlust because you don't know exactly how much blood they've lost and stuff like that. So that kind of makes sense on how it would be hard for people to use reverse curse technique on others. That makes sense, and it kind of brings some more information to light on reverse curse technique. She also says that they may be rejecting the healer's curse energy, or the curse energy may fail to respond to conversion. That's why treatment is more effective on some people than others. That's when Choso says he suspected as much. He says, "My body can convert curse energy into blood. Integrating my little brother should also allow Yuji to do this along with some kind of curse technique," referring to the other cursed death painting wounds that he hasn't yet ingested at this time, saying that if Yuji does ingest them and absorbs them, not only will he gain a curse technique, but his body will be more like Choso's in the aspect that it can convert curse energy into blood almost automatically. Choso says, "That's not all. I think we can cover the technical parts with our constitution so we don't experience the same massive curse energy consumption, which is a problem in reverse curse technique." So using reverse curse technique, obviously it uses a lot of curse energy, but with them having the blood manipulation technique, that kind of makes the output converting cursed energy into blood way smaller. Shoko says that means you two have a lower hurdle to clear in acquiring reverse curse technique. Joso says that's why I wanted to include someone who can use reverse curse technique in replacement training. Yuji, looking confused, says replacement training. That's when Yui says my curse technique is spatial transference of targets. If you're with me, I can jump us to places and people that I've marked. That's letting us know what he's been doing this whole time during the battle. Every time somebody gets wounded and he appears, he just teleports with them out, kind of explaining his curse technique a little bit more. Yuji says, Yui says, think of my target as a soul and body, or like a box with something inside. Yui continues to elaborate, saying the box is like someone else's birthday present. You can't take out what's inside just because you feel like it. And Yuji goes, And then Kari says, are you already lost? Kirawa says, but you can if you have that person's permission. Yui says, that's how I move and switch with the souls of the people I've marked. And Yuji goes, what? Why are you so surprised, says Yui. I once fought a cursed spirit named Mahito. Apparently, when he used his curse technique to change the shape of the soul, the flesh also changed shape. So won't switching souls affect the bodies? Which is an excellent question, of course, because Mahito, from the time he was introduced to the time he was absorbed, was always going on about the souls and how changing the shape of the soul also changed the shape of the body. And he was always just kind of making these perplexed questions about did the soul come first or did the body. And I guess now we're kind of getting a little bit more of an elaboration on it. Yui says, don't worry, I can switch boxes without opening them. Unless you open them, no one knows that they've changed. Itadori, you're developing rapidly as a sorcerer, says Kusakabe. Do you know why that is? And we get this funny panel of Yuji blushing going, And he says, is it because I got talent? Kusakabe, of course, goes, is because of Sukuna. And then we get that classic JJK face where he just like changes and he's just like, they have that comedic style of the serious tone coming in right after the funniness. Kusakabe says, Sukuna possessed your body and used jujutsu. So he's saying your body remembers super special grade curse techniques, so you can pick them up and develop them incredibly fast. We're going to do the same thing through replacement training. First with me, I'm going to teach you the basics of my curse energy manipulation and barrier techniques, my simple domain. Hikari goes, isn't there a binding vow limiting it to new shadow style? And Mei goes, no problem, I handled it. And then she's obviously looking really happy, kind of blushing. Somebody asks why so happy. I'm gonna assume it has something to do with money involved. She's always kind of doing things with the influence of getting paid and getting money. So that's probably why she's smiling. So she somehow got money out of this situation. Yui says, for 1 month, there's a limit to 2 times per person, so give the combination serious thought. So we found that out the other day through the spoilers, that theory that we had that Yuji had some sort of body switching technique. It was actually Yui, and it could only do it 2 times per person in a 1 month span. And then they used that technique to help drill in some training for Yuji. Kusakabe was saying that when people engage in sports, they repeat the same motions until their body remembers. They get a muscle memory. And so that's kind of the same thing that they're going to do with Yuji for that training, is to help drill in some new stuff for him to learn. It's then in the next panel that we see Yuji using the new shadow style, simple domain. And then we see another panel of Sukuna's domain, and there's a bunch of rocks underneath it. It's kind of broken up. The eyes of the domain creature, whatever it is, are kind of glopping out blood. So Yuji thinks it looks like an incomplete domain. So there's some kind of hole and he can withstand this. Meru says Yuji is right. Even with his back against the wall, Sukuna isn't lowering the difficulty of his barrier technique, as in Shibuya. He's destroying basically everything within range. Kind of like Shibuya, how he just kind of destroyed the entire area. He's just doing the same thing again. However, his back is against the wall and he isn't able to use a barrier to divide his effective range and the outside world. Covering the domain with a barrier's external shell provides an escape route. The binding vow disappears, the effective range shrinks, and the domain's specifications change, and the guaranteed hit activates within the manifested landscape of mental imagery. It's still impossible to notice Maki, who has no curse energy, and Sukuna is currently incapable of maintaining this high-level domain. 99 seconds, says the narrator. After 99 seconds, Malevolent Shrine will crumble. And then we see kind of like a outpan of the city. There's rubble flying everywhere. It looks crazy, like he's causing a tornado. And then we start to see the panels of everybody saying, hang in there, endure it, they can all endure it. They're all thinking that they can endure it until the domain crumbles within itself. We see Yuji trying to endure it, Maki, and I think that looks like useless Miwa. I'm not 100%, it's kind of hard to tell from me. She may be using her simple domain here to help protect Maki. We see Ino still alive, he's also using a simple domain, and then we see Choso also enduring it, but he's screaming out for Yuji, his little brother. He's concerned about him. And then Yuji's simple domain breaks. No! And he gets shredded. His leg is cut off and then he falls back. However, the blood is still attached to the leg where it was severed, and he kind of like zips it back on there, kind of like we saw Choso do in the Shibuya arc. So his leg's actually fine. And then as he's getting up, he's thinking that Sukuna slashes stop. They hung out till the end, and then Sukuna drops a big fat bomb on them and it opens up. The translations I've seen are all different. He's opening the flames. He's saying either earth or kitchen, or not kitchen, that was Crunchy that said that. So he's opening up that flame technique. We haven't seen him use that since the Shibuya arc, and the translations are all saying different things. But on Viz, it's saying divine flame, and he's saying open. So there's a kitchen theme going on with
What are you? An idiot sandwich.
Sukuna, and I'm wondering if he has any other curse techniques. He's got the cleave and dismantle for cutting, and now he's got this divine flame for cooking. So I'm wondering if he has any other chef-related curse techniques within his arsenal. But anyways, yeah, that's how the chapter ends. We get a break next week, so it's a pretty big cliffhanger. I'm still wondering if we're gonna zip over to Urarame versus Akari at all. If he's ever gonna join up with these guys and help, he'd definitely be a good weapon against Sukuna with his domain expansion and his ways to like basically become immortal for like I think it was like 4 minutes or something like that. But yeah, so the chapter ends with him saying divine flame open. He's about to lay waste to the city, same way he did when he was fighting Maharaga. After he cut him up, he basically burned everything to shit. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. It's gonna be a long 2-week wait, but as soon as we do get those spoilers, I'll definitely be leaking those. If you like this video, please leave a like and a follow. Thanks guys.